The Australian Maltese Chamber of Commerce welcomes new members. For more details, visit their website amcc.org.au. Għal-ġimgħa oħra jiena Marlin Xikluna nagħtikom merħba fil-programm Maltese Down Under, magażin kulturali bi produzzjoni kollha kemm mill-belt ta' Melbourne. Fil-programm illum ser nitkellmu ma' Anthony Grima, manager tal-Media u Marketing mal-Federazzjoni tal-Futbol fil-Victoria. Naddu ftit tal-ħin fil-ħanut ta' Amanda Piscopo, hija u tagħmel it-salzett Malti u fl-aħħar nett naslu wasla sa' ċentru Malti f'Parkville. Nibdew il-programm billi nitkellmu ma' Anthony Grima, manager tal-Media u Marketing mal-Federazzjoni tal-Futbol fil-Victoria.
Anthony, you've had a long sort of association with the Maltese community, and obviously with a surname like Grima,
yes.
That indicates your background is Maltese.
Yes, it is.
Can you tell us a little bit about your background and your association?
Well, I've had a very unique, or been fortunate to have a very unique upbringing in terms of being involved in the Maltese community. I think ever since I was born, my father, Ray, and my mother Rita encouraged all us kids, myself and my three sisters, to be involved in the Maltese band. And I'm originally from Adelaide, and there's one band in Adelaide called the Maltese Queen of Victories band. So we're very fortunate at a young age to learn an instrument, especially through school. And I think it was the best thing that my parents could ever introduce to in my life, because it allowed me to have that social nature with other people who also had a passion for music. And it just happened in Adelaide, the band was Maltese. So that's all we knew in our childhood, was playing for the Maltese Queen of Victories band in Adelaide. We play in Maltese feasts in Adelaide regularly, which is great for the Maltese culture here in Australia, because it's lacking nowadays, unfortunately. And it was great because we'd have the friends become family, and when you're Maltese, it's a big value in the community that it's family oriented.
So when you were growing up and you started in the band, what instrument were you playing?
Well, I was playing trumpet to start with,
yeah.
And then as I got older and also learning through school and expanded in terms of our skills, we were able to play other instruments, and especially with trumpet you can play anything that has three valves. So played fingered trombone at one stage, and also euphonium as well.
So with having that association with the band, did that take you into other areas of the Maltese community in Adelaide or further afield?
Yeah, it did. It actually, for me, it set up my whole family life, and I met my wife through the band, and it was actually not from the Adelaide band, it was the Maltese band called the Maltese Own Band Philharmonic Society. So what happened was, when I was growing up, the Maltese Own Band in Melbourne used to come to Adelaide to play in the Maltese Queen of Victories Festa, which is a 3-day event in October every year. And one day the guys in the band just said, we should start talking more to the girls in the Maltese band, because we never get to we always get to play, but we never get to chat or talk about their experiences. And in all seriousness, what we wanted to do was start a youth group in Adelaide for the band. Start a more social outings, bowling and movies away from the band, because all we did was play in band and then you'd go home. But we wanted to keep that and foster that encouragement for future generations like us to keep the band alive, because it relied on our youth and those who had a passion for music. So one day we went to talk to the girls, and that's how I met my wife. So the short story is, 14 years later, I'm living in Melbourne now, and I played with the Maltese Own Band. I've got family who also with St Albans Melita Band here in Melbourne as well. Okay. So it's a big family affair. My younger sisters and my dad's still involved in the band in Adelaide. And it's not just the band, but my in-laws, my father-in-law had a hit single in Malta with a band called Bo Glen, and it's called Meta on Michaela Lili. So it's a big family affair, not just on my side, but also my wife's family. My wife also played the clarinet, and her sisters played woodwind as well. Nowadays we're not involved as much as we are, because with our jobs and family life, and that's the nature of, unfortunately, the Maltese community in general now, not just the band, but the Festa, the festivals that happen on a weekly basis with all the different clubs there are. But in Melbourne, we're sport. We've, there's Maltese feasts that happen on a weekly basis.
So, having got 2 kids now?
Yes.
Yeah. So, having 2 boys, are you starting to get them involved in some aspects of the Maltese community? Or,
I'd love to, and it's good they can learn Maltese from their nana and nano, and it's great that we're able to have share the same upbringing that we had, fortunately.
Yeah.
And those values, I think that was typical of a Maltese family today, and I think I'm very blessed to that, and definitely that is something that we would like to instill. They're still very young at the moment.
Absolutely.
But the Maltese should be very proud of the way they bring up their kids, because it's a testament to them.
Yeah. I know that you've had since coming to Melbourne, you've been involved in sports marketing and in I guess the community of sport.
Yes.
For different jobs that you've done, and we're currently here in your office at the FFV.
Yes.
How did you make that leap from moving to Adelaide, coming over to Melbourne? Obviously, it was partly personal.
Yes.
But then getting into this world where there are some Maltese clubs going back years.
There is. Yeah, it's a proud history of Maltese in soccer. Look, I've always had a passion for football and music. That's all, and it was all again because of upbringing. And you tend to do what your parents do. I think most people would do anyway, but I chose that route, and I fell back on something that I was passionate about when I came to Melbourne. And then I was tapped on the shoulder to work in a full-time environment, and I was fortunate to be able to do something that I love. And I've been here now for almost 9 years at Football Federation Victoria. I worked with talented players, a lot of talented coaches, worked in a high-performance environment. And now, for the last 3 years, I've been working in the commercial scene, so sponsorship and marketing, increasing the profile of football in this country, because it is really, really popular now. There's 3 times more Australians playing soccer than any other sport, including the AFL. Wow. And when you look at that, we all have a very important job to do. And when you're passionate for something, it really comes out through your work. So I'm delighted that I can make a positive difference to football here, not just in the state, but hopefully in Australia as well.
Have you had opportunity to work in Malta, or to go over to Malta to perform or anything like that?
I've been to Malta twice, back in, it was quite some time now. Back in 1989, we went for 6 months with my family, and I lost all my English.
Wow.
So I was going through primary school, and back in 99, we went for Christmas. And that was a great opportunity because I was obviously able to enjoy it more. But I was fortunate enough to play with the one of the band clubs in Berzabuja, and we played in the Christmas telethon there, which was obviously televised. So very fortunate enough there. We've got a lot of family in Malta who are also involved in the various band clubs and the Maltese life over there.
So how did you find that experience of being in a band over in Malta? How did that compare, like, from the whole experience? Because they're massive when they're doing things, especially on.
Correct. It's obsessive. Yeah. It's in Malta, it's a different world. My family go there, religious as well, which is the most important thing. The music, the culture is all linked back to religion, in my opinion. My family, my dad's side of the family is from Berzabuja, my mum's side of the family is from Tarashin. They, regardless of where they are in Malta, they're obsessive about their local feast, and when that feast is on, it's on. The whole village stops for preparation. And like in Adelaide, I could say that when I moved from Adelaide to Melbourne, the Maltese culture and the sense of community here just jumped 1,000%, because we don't have Maltese feasts like you do in Melbourne, which is once a week. In Adelaide we're a very small community, but you can see that jump, and then when you're in Malta, you just say, this is just absolutely amazing. I think the Maltese community here in Melbourne should be very proud of what they've achieved and what they've tried to and bring Malta back to Australia, and to try and get youth like me involved in the band clubs and keeping that tradition alive. And I think, unfortunately there is not as much youth involved today. I think it's lacking, but I think programs like this, for example, highlight the need to be involved and to ensure we keep the tradition alive.